Unit 3 and what is the topic? Epidemiology, right? Epidemiology. Okay. Then what else we discussed in epidemiology so far? We discussed about its definition, right? So what is the simplest definition? It is a scientific study of distribution, determinants, risk factors and occurrences of diseases. Then what else we discussed? Yeah? Yeah, components. We discussed about components of epidemiology. What are those? What are the components of epidemiology?
Population, frequency.
Yeah, population. Frequency, then
Healthcare conditions.
mortality rate, morbidity rate, then
Health-related conditions.
determinants, risk factors, then distribution. Okay, similar things. Then what else we discussed after this?
History.
Yeah. So chain of infection, we discussed about chain of infection. And what else we discussed?
History.
Yes, history of disease, history of diseases, right? How does a disease prognosis or the progress of disease? What is the end stage of disease? Right, recovery, stage of recovery. Very good. So, stay quiet everyone. So the next important topic. So I already started in my last lecture about epidemiology study design. Right now, study designs of epidemiology. What do I mean by study design? Any guesses? Let us assume in this classroom few students getting some viral. Few students and few children getting viral. We need to investigate the issue. Okay? Let us assume this is a population and we are doing a epidemiology survey on you. Right? So how do we design a research to study the epidemiology in this classroom? Or to study the occurrence of disease in this classroom? Got it? So now listen. Broadly, these study designs are of two types. So I am giving you a classification of epidemiology study. Write down everyone. Classification of epidemiology study designs. Classification of epidemiology study designs. Actually, I want to discuss about complete workflow, but this will be too much depth to you. Anyway, primarily I will write here. So, a brief summary, okay? A brief summary of how to conduct a study design. To understand this study approach, you should know few terminologies. Listen, write down the terms first. The first term I want to use was cohort. C-O-H-O-R-T. The meaning of cohort is group. Okay? This is a group in research is called as cohort. Study group. Okay? So this word will be repeatedly I will use in the further session. So be cautious. Cohort means a group. Okay? The second terminology I want to give was hypothesis. What do I mean by hypothesis? Hypothesis. Any idea about hypothesis? What is the meaning of hypothesis? Any idea?
Let me keep it vertical.
Yeah. What do I mean by hypothesis? Any idea? Okay, you don't know. Then listen. Hypothesis means formulating a study. Formulating a study to connect any two parameters, two variables is called as hypothesis. Or simply hypothesis is the ground of research. It's the fundamental pillar of research, okay? Foundation of research. Now listen, in any research design, whenever we are conducting any research, we need two components. At least there will be two components. What are those two components? One will be the affected individual, humans. Second one, the causing agent. Anything it can be. Malaria or some X disease. Okay? We are trying to connect that disease with this particular condition. Got it? That is called as research. If I am saying pregnant woman has less platelets, that is a research. What are the two components? One was a pregnant woman and second one my platelets. Why my platelets are down, low? Okay, come fast. So, you got the point, right? In any research design, there are two variables, x1 and x2, and we are trying to study the connection between the x1 and x2, n1 and 2, anything, okay? We are trying to connect correlation, it is called relation, correlation between these two variables. So for that, we are always testing with the hypothesis. I was assuming in this classroom you are getting viral. What I assumed was x1 was students and I was assuming, just an assumption. Maybe this is a seasonal flu, it is a winter, maybe you might got a corona. Now listen, corona has multiple variants, okay? COVID has multiple variants. COVID-19 is a dangerous virus, but there are non-COVID viruses also in this family, okay? So I was assuming some corona-mediated infection came to my population. I was not testing other things. There might be flu for influenza, there might be flu for other rhinoviral diseases, there might be flu for even rotaviral diseases. I am not testing those things. I was suspecting, is this an outcome of coronaviruses? I was going to check whether you are getting flus due to a coronavirus. So I formulated my thesis, hypothesis, okay? That is called as hypothesis. A title of your study will be a hypothesis, okay? Now hereafter, our research will be only on hypothesis, not on other parameters. I was blindly fixed that my study will be about flu to the students due to corona. After that, I should not deviate. No, not corona, maybe rotavirus. If I am deviating, that is not a scientific study. It should be properly connected. What my point? That is called as a hypothesis. Is it clear? It might be true or false. We don't know. But first we assumption, I don't know proper pronunciation. Got it right? We assume students got COVID or students got the flu due to corona. That is a hypothesis. Now we will work on our hypothesis. We are going to test our hypothesis. Okay, our idea. How we will test it? Then, write down these all steps. Okay, there are almost 9 to 10 steps. Write down. The next one is, when I am conducting a study, I need to consider these 4 important parameters. What are the 4 parameters? Can anyone guess what is the duration of PhD? How many years a person will do PhD? PhD is always a testing research, around 3 to 5 years, maximum 7 years. Now assume I want to do a research design where it will take around 20 years. Is that ideal research? Now, the duration of my research should be within the timeline of my PhD course. The first and foremost thing, the duration. I need to consider the duration of my study. So write down some parameters I am writing here. 3rd point parameters. A, duration. Actually, you are very lucky students to have this subject in the first year. I will show one of my students. Shifali is MSc MLT, 22nd batch. She completed her thesis after 3 years. It took 3 years for her, and she was confused about what are these things. Whatever I am saying later in this class, she haven't studied even in her masters, and suddenly she need to do a research and she become very confused. It took challenging for her. Actually, I reviewed her name. I'm sorry. Ideally, I should not. Her Viva was postponed 3 times. She given a final Viva. She's unable to answer. Postponed. Again, she paid the fee. Again, she appeared. Again, she failed. And now she's not coming to the regular classes. That became another challenge. I'm not available. I will be busy here. So, this is your fundamental topics that will be helpful during your masters. Okay. So please be serious with this subject. I'm telling you again. Anyway. So duration of the study. Second one, the sample size. If I'm saying to conduct a very good research, I need 10,000 people. Can I able to gather 10,000 people test samples? It's very tough. Financially, everything is tough. So you need to have your, confident sample size, the minimum confident sample size. When I say minimum, with 10 people we can do the study, but is 10 people will give the status of a large population? So you need to have a confident sample size. How many people should be involved to get a confident values, significant values? So sample size, another parameter. Sample size, another parameter. Then the next parameter. Now listen. My hypothesis is on students actually. It's not about old people or construction workers nor other group. My cohort is students. Am I correct? Now, this is an important parameter in research. What cohort we are taking? What is the inclusion and exclusion criteria for my sampling? I cannot include a pregnant ladies or illiterate people in my study. That won't give results because they are not students. I need someone that is present in the campus in this particular situation. Am I correct? So always in every cohort size, we must include what is the included criteria and what is the excluded criteria. Now let us assume exclusion criteria in this study group. Sometimes there will be some distance students, distance study students. Technically they are students, but are they in the campus? They didn't. Can I include them in my study? I cannot. Even though they sound student, they have a UID, but they are working from home. So they are not students. So always I should have my inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria. Write on this one. Inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria in the study. Very, very important thing. Since my Shifali, my master student, working on a pregnant woman, unknowingly what she did, she also took the samples of normal people. Normal ladies who were coming to the lab. She mixed the results. She mixed CBC blood reports along with pregnant blood reports with non-pregnant blood reports. Ideally, her research is on pregnant ladies, but unknowingly she thought only women will be pregnant. Let me take women sample. She forgot that there are normal people, normal non-pregnant women, right? So her research was collapsed. Again, we segregated the results. We reworked on it. It took a time for me to understand what she did. Okay. So yeah, always inclusion and exclusion criteria must be there. Got it? So again, a quick recap. We need to know terminologies. We need to know what is a cohort, what is a hypothesis, and these things. The duration. What is this one?
Parameters.
Parameters. Yeah. Duration, sample size, and inclusion and exclusion. Yeah. Next. Right now. The next step. So study design. This is the actual process of study design. Step 1. Study design. Title. Hypothesis title means. Next one. Objectives. Do you know what is the meaning of objectives? Objective means the steps to be taken to reach the aim. Aim will be the title. For example, I said I was doing a research on my students. So what will be my objectives? First I need to test whether you have flu or not. How I will know whether you have flu or not? Maybe I will do a nasal swab. I will take earbud like swab, and I will take your nasal swab, and I will do a test. Okay, positive. So this is one of the objective. Objectives are the guide us to reach the title. Okay, the steps to reach the title will be the objectives. One, identifying the students is one objective. Second one, doing test is second objective. Third one, after getting sample, I need to do the reports. I want the reports, and report analysis is third objective. And fourth one, conclusion, research outcome. These are my four objectives. What are the four? Identifying students, testing, getting reports, studying the reports, and giving a conclusion. These are the four objectives. I hope now you understood what is the meaning of objective. Objectives are the steps to reach the title or the hypothesis. Very good. Now we know what is an objective. Next, write down. After that, study design. Actually, this is my today's topic. Epidemiology, study designs. To understand study designs, first you should know what are these. So study designs I will discuss later. Keep in mind. So broadly there will be two types of study designs. Listen. One will be an descriptive study design, and other one will be analytical. Just no need to write, just keep in mind. When I say descriptive, I am not going to do any research. I will just take your feedback. That's it. There are 50 students. Individually, I will call you to this podium and I will ask, what was your name? Miss Priya, are you well? Or do you have any favor? Next, Miss Simran. Miss, I know your name. I forgot, what is your name? Sukman. So, Miss Sukman. So, if I am taking your descriptions, your feedbacks, rather than, I'm not doing any actual experimental test on you. I'm just taking your feedback. After you are giving feedback, I will just observe you. That's it. What will happen after next 5 days? That is called as descriptive studies. Then second one, analytical studies. In analytical, I will do a small testing on your samples. I will intervene in you and I will check. I will interfere in your group and I will gather the data. That is called analytical. That we will see later. Okay. So keep in mind study design. After doing the study design, the next step is write down methodology. Even my student, my master student got confused between the objectives and methodologies. The meaning of objective is the broad steps of my research design, broad steps of my title. What are the objectives? Identifying students, testing, gathering reports, result analysis. Now, I said testing, right? How we will perform a test? There should be some proper point-to-point, step-by-step testing, right? What will be the ideal test? Tell me, students. Maybe I will take this airbag kit. I will take an airbag kit. I will open the seal. I will keep on a bench. I will call the students. I will take a serum sample, add a drop on the test card. Then I will wait for 2 minutes. The actual test that I am doing, that is called methodology. The actual step-by-step approach. Is there any centrifugation involved? Is there any sample processing involved? The actual scientist work we are doing on a lab is called as methodology. The step-by-step, detailed step-by-step of research or the experimental part is called as methodology. See, I cannot simply say I have collected a blood sample. After collecting blood sample, what vial I used, what company vial I used. There are multiple companies and multiple companies will use multiple reagents with various, composition. So the idea is, today I conducted a research. If tomorrow, if Deepika ma'am conducting research, she should get same results. If she is not getting same results, that means I am doing some cheating in my work. So I need to be very specific. Miss Dr. Deepika, I used airbag kit. Are you using airbag kit? If you are not using airbag kit, you won't get my results. So I need to be very clear in my test approach. I need to tell what instrument I use. Even in centrifuge, there are multiple companies. I used this particular instrument. Even in this particular instrument, this particular model. LG centrifuge, LG model 101. I need to be very specific, right? If not that, we cannot replicate the research. Research is always reproducibility. If some other scientist unable to reproduce, that means I am cheating. That is the groundwork of, this is evidence-based practices. Anyone, anywhere in the world must be able to conduct my design and they should validate that I have done correctly or not. Am I correct? That is called scientific approach. So that is called as methodology. SOP, standard operating procedures, or step-by-step detailed process of each and individual objective. Detailed objective approach is called methodology. Got it? Detailed objective approach is called methodology. And the detailed title of approach will be objective. Methodology will support objectives, objectives will support the title, my hypothesis. Clear? Any doubt so far? Yeah, next one, right now. Actually, I like this subject. I love it. Doing research is very important. Until and unless you don't know these basics, you can't understand, just like my master student. Actually, I was recording this YouTube video and I was telling her that. Anyway, I'm sorry. Next one. Methodology, next one. After methodology, data collection. So methodology is simply test. We did testing, then we got the data of individual patient, right? Data collection. Yeah. Data collected. Yeah. After data collection, what we will do? Guess normally we got the data. All your blood sample reports I got. Next, what I will do? I will analyze your data. What are the trends of values? How many of you getting normal values? How many of you getting abnormal? If abnormal, what fluctuations are there? In CBC, RBC, WBC, granulocytes, agranulocytes, platelets, macrophages, multiple parameters, right? Yeah. Data analysis. Right on. Next one, data analysis. This process still, yeah. Data analysis. So Dimple was absent today. Where is Dimple? Absent? So data analysis. After data analysis, what we will do next? Any guesses? After analyzing data, what we might do? Listen. We will draw the conclusion. Actually, listen. After data analysis, we will do something called discussion. Discussion. Very important. What is the meaning of discussion? Discussion means, now I got your results, I analyzed. Now I will start discuss. Sukman, my student Sukman, got abnormally low value. Platelet was only 40,000 instead of 1 lakh. No, I cannot directly say, okay, Sukman has 40,000, it's my own research, I am great. I cannot say that. Now I will start discussing her value with already available research data. In Europe, in Texas, there is a scientist, Mr. Ching Yong. Ching Yong also did a similar research. He also got 40,000. Ching Yong suspected in European climate 40,000 due to this particular parameter. Maybe temperature was very cold. But in India, my Sukman also got 40,000. But in my case, this cold temperature is not there. But my research, my Sukman data, tallying with Ching Yong data, maybe some scientific, maybe something was connecting with our similar research. I don't know why it happened, but I was discussing these things. Maybe I will draw conclusion later. This is called discussion. My student having done discussion, she simply started discussing her own thing, like she did the actual data. Discussion is always checking your data with the public data, other scientists. That is called discussion. Got it? Yeah. Discussion has been done on your results. After discussion, what we will do? Now, after this one, I will say, Sukman 40,000 with Ching Yong data. Now I am giving my conclusion. Maybe in my testing condition, Sukman was, your Ching Yong patient is in cold temperature but she is nutritious. In my case, this is the new approach. Here, one temperature only, but my Sukman was malnutrition. Recently she didn't take. Maybe once is a torturing. Stress value. Now I will give a conclusion. This is the new X parameter. I was connecting with this one. Stress. Stress causing flu in my sick month. She was overstressed, her some interaction happened, and that is my conclusion. Now you understood what is the scientific conclusion. Now I can get a PhD because I was scientifically trying to prove a new parameter with the same, without contradicting the actual research database. I got similar result, but I got a new parameter here, maybe stress. Stress related corona infection. Maybe. See, yeah, this is called conclusion. Right now, conclusion. See, now we are understanding how a research was done scientifically and in a very simple things. It's very interesting if you are paying attention. Right? Yeah. Then, last and final. Outcome. Conclusion and outcome, future directions. So, always, see, just a one-person PhD cannot be a global impact. Keep in mind. Right? Maybe I was awarded PhD, but it should not have global impact. For global impact, the whole population is 7 to 8 billion. So you must give some future directions. More scientists should be collaborated to work on this one. Is really teaching faculty stress can really induce students, susceptible to COVID. So we need a future support. So this is called the actual research design. Now, there are some things should be considered whenever we are doing study design. See, just for a good cause, can I take illegally your data? Maybe you went to medical camp, you given some samples. Without telling you, I have hijacked the system, I took your data and I am doing my research. Is that an ethical practice? That is not an ethical practice. Or I am telling on the other way. You are doing your regular lab test, hematology, my lab. You are doing your lab test and secretly I was collecting data from my machine and I was doing my PhD research on you without telling you. Is that a right approach? No, never. Inform the consent. Always, whomsoever involved in that research must to be know why they participated in this research. Ethical practices are very important. If there are no ethical grounds, you know what happens in hospitals? A doctor can purposefully do a research on a pregnant woman. He might kill a baby without telling you, simply saying there is a problem during delivery. I'm sorry. No, that's not possible. That is why always there is something called ethical committee in every institution. You must get an ethical approval before conducting any research on any living being on planet Earth. Even on cockroach. You think cockroach is just a bloody insect. Who said it? You are still killing a life for a sake of some research, for your selfish, greedy thing. So you must get an ethical approval even to kill one living being. In China, one thing happened. Without the consent, he just made a mutated babies, cloned babies. Now the babies are twins actually. And the twins has mutations. Now the twins' life is at risk. Just he did some genetic mutations, 2 babies born and babies get CVD. By default, they got some heart problems. Who is the responsible for their life? That is completely unethical. They will suffer till their death. And they haven't done any mistake here. It is because of our greedy research, we kept their life at risk. Is everything fine in last bench? Why are you standing there? Anyway, now mister, sit here, come friend. Don't make noise, okay, please. Daniel, adjust Daniel, please. What is his name? See, please don't make any nuisance. Try to understand me, sit here. No. Daniel, stay quiet. What is your name? What is your name? That is always Daniel's face anyway. Sit here. Quiet. Yeah. Pay attention. Here. Time 10:05. Shall I continue or shall I stop?
Continue.
5 more minutes, okay? Please suffer with me. Anyway. Next. Study designs. See, I was just for this purpose I brought you till here. So I must conclude this one, right? Listen. Array. You respect my teaching, okay? Please. Yeah. Designs. Write down. Types of steady designs. Broadly, these are of two types. Broadly, these are of two types. Broadly, the epidemiology study designs are of two types. What are those? Descriptive. Descriptive. Next one. Analytical. Analytical. Descriptive and analytical. So what is the meaning of descriptive? Write down a short definition of descriptive under this one. Short definition of descriptive. The amount of distribution of disease within a population. The frequency of disease in a population. Frequency or amount. Frequency of disease within a population with a detailed description from patient feedback. With a detailed description from patient feedback or group feedback. I believe we cannot say patient. I think you are Raman's sister, right? Right? Yeah, I felt that yes, Raman is one of my master students. Right? Anyway, her sister. She is doing research on that. Her research also very good actually. Raman was working on malaria. Very nice research actually. Yeah. Malaria occurs in Mohali, in Punjab region. This region. Anyway, wherever descriptive. Write down. Descriptive studies means here I will conduct surveys, feedback from you. I won't do any research. I am just taking your feedback. Right. That is called descriptive. Write down. These are of three types. Descriptive are of three types. One. Case reports. Case reports. So Raman doing a research, her sister. So what she is doing, she is collecting the case reports. She is going to a hospital and in the hospital she is asking how many people in your area got malaria. So she is collecting the reports from hospital registers. Ethically owned. She is getting permission, right? So that is called case reports. A part of descriptive study. Second one. Case series. Case series. Case series means very simple, publicly available domains. I will go to Mohali 16, sector 16 hospital website. In hospital they will write this month, this many malaria patients, inpatient, malaria 200, February 300 cases reported, in July 20 cases. So publicly available series of data collecting, that is called case series. Okay, next one. Ecological studies. Ecological studies. Ecological studies. What do we mean by ecological studies? Listen, sometimes I don't need any data from actual cohort, actual group. Rather than I will see the environmental factors, such as suddenly there is a cement factory established nearby CU. That cement factory releasing so much smoke, dust into the campus. Now that dust can cause a breathing issues to you. I also need to consider the ecological factors: dust, environment, temperature, moisture, sunlight, absence of light, all these things. Ecological studies. These are the part of descriptive design. Descriptive epidemiology study design. Okay. Next one. Analytical. What do you mean by analytical? Here we are doing an experiment. We are doing a methodology. We are collecting the samples. We are doing some testing in the lab. Some experiments are conducted to understand that problem. Okay. Experimental approach. Experimental approach is called as analytical. Whenever we are saying experimental, always there will be a hypothesis. Hypothesis testing. Hypothesis testing approach. What is the meaning of hypothesis? Whether X is connected with X1 connected with X2 or not. whether they are connected or not connected. By the way, I need to tell one more point here. I haven't said variable. Variable means something that is affected. Here, flu, student was one person, second one is flu. Variable 1, student, variable 2 is flu, maybe corona. Now listen, very important. In variable means cause or a number of people involved in the study. The variable of two types. Sorry, I didn't say it in the beginning, now I'm telling. Variable are of two types, keep in mind. They are dependent variable, independent variable. What do you mean by dependent and independent variable? Now listen, maybe I will try to tell with this one only I need to develop on this. Dependent variable means if I am giving a, assume variable 2 was a paracetamol tablet. Assume she has a fever. If I am giving paracetamol tablet to Sukman, what is the expected outcome? She should recover. Her body temperature must be down. Am I correct? This is called as dependent variable. If I am altering one thing, the next one will be affected. If I am giving paracetamol and she is getting affected by the paracetamol, such variable is called as dependent variable. Second one, independent variable. Something that won't change Sukman suddenly. For example, the type of faculty standing here. Whomsoever at the end of the day we have faculties, it might not change her behavior, right? So that factors, variables can be independent. So we also need to know what type of variable we are considering in our thesis. Is that really affecting it or non-affecting? Very interestingly, sometimes non-affecting variable will affect the patient, like environmental. If we say broadly environment won't do much effect, but sometimes it will do on some susceptible population. So yeah, so variables are of two types, dependent and independent. Got it? So yeah, coming back to my analysis, research, design, analytical. Analytical, we are doing some research right now. These are of broadly two types. What are those two types? These are of two types right now. Class quite last bench, I know you are getting more because this is a long lecture, but I will finish it. Analytical two types, observational, another one interventional. In observational, what I will do is, I already did a group study on you. I haven't directly interviewed, but I came to know in Wuhan there is some serious mode of transmission happening in Wuhan, China. So I came to know there is a problem, but I'm not directly interviewing, but I was observing. Let me don't help this population. Let me don't tell any quarantine. Let me see what happens. I know what's going on actually. Let me see how many people will die. Let me see how many people will get affected. Let me see what are the symptoms of the patients, but I'm not involving in it. Technically I involve, but I'm not helping the population. That is called observational. Next one, interventional. In interventional, I intervened into you. Now I started collecting data, I was doing some testing. Okay, right now. In interventional, there are two types, quasi-experimental, quasi-experimental. This I will tell later. Quasi means true experiment, and next one, very important word I know, randomized clinical trials. Randomized clinical trials. This is the next phase of Raman's work, but I didn't initiate it with your sister. We went with Physiology. Anyway, RCT, randomized clinical trials. Randomly, I will take some samples. I will do some clinical trials. I will give some tablets to you. Usually, what I will do was, I will segregate this class into two types: Group A, Group B. Group A I will treat, and Group B I won't do anything. This will be my control group, and this will be my study group. Why I am doing this control group means, if I am conducting study on everyone, I won't I cannot test my own hypothesis. I need some non-touched group. That means I didn't give any tablets. And let me see how you will respond to my study. So always in every study there will be a case group where I am actually conducting some study, and there will be a control group where I am not touching you but I will see your behavior. Okay? Yeah. So write down RCT, randomized clinical trials are 3 types. Clinical trials. Second one, field study, field trials. And third one, community trials. Field trials. If I get any campus, I am doing that is field studies. Community, overall, this is a Jain community, or this is one particular race, ethnicity, culture. In the particular community, I am doing some studies. I came to know Jehovah's Witness. It's a type of religion where these people used to believe that they have seen Jesus directly. I hope you might know it, okay? So, these people won't give any blood to anyone. They think that they are the direct lineage of Lord Jesus. They think they are gods. Their God's blood is in their body. And they won't donate their blood. And there is a problem with these people. They won't even give, even in extreme challenges like cancer. They have a cancer, but they won't accept any blood donation. They are ready to die. Okay. Yeah, this is very extreme cases. There are certain things, even in India. Don't feel that India is very good. We do have untouchable practices still today. We're also Indians only. We do have many blind beliefs. Okay. Still these things are happening. Why am I telling this one? Community studies. So certain communities have some behaviors. Even that will affect our study. Okay. This is the summary of epidemiology study designs. So there are around 7 questions covering these aspects. Now you can understand what is this and you can study by yourself. Am I correct? Yeah, thank you very much for today's, and thank you for your patience actually. This is somewhat depth lecture today. Thank you class. Yeah. Let me take your attendance.